Hi, I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and today we are going to be having a discussion about CCW, or concealed carry. Now, this is not going to be a breakdown of every different way you can conceal a handgun and the pros and cons of all those. We've actually already done that video. Also, there are thousands of videos like that on YouTube right now, so any of those will give you a good representation of the different methods of carry. This is going to be a topic of what I have found works and what does not work, at least for me. Now, I have been carrying a gun almost every day, personally and professionally, for 5 years ago today. So that's a lot of time with a gun on my hip or on my person, and I have tried a lot of different things trying to increase my carryability, my comfort level, and safe to say I've wasted a lot of money coming to the conclusion that I have arrived at for what works well for me. One thing you're going to have to think about, and this is something that most people new to concealed carrying don't really understand or don't factor into their decision, is you need to think about carrying a gun as a triangle, okay? And at the different points of that triangle, we have number one, your clothing, what you need to wear or what you can wear, okay? Number two, we have the equipment you need, and that would be belt, holster, the size of the gun, can you accommodate a light, different things like that. And then the third corner is going to be comfortability, okay? Now, the rule of thumb is if you want one of those things to increase, right, I want more comfortability, you're going to lose the availability of what you can wear and the equipment that you can carry. Think, oh, I want to be really comfortable. Well, then you're probably going to have some sort of overgarment, so you're not worried about printing in a smaller gun, okay? Or just comfortability, it's summer, you're going to have a smaller gun, and that's going to mean you can't necessarily carry all your other gear or have high capacity. There are caveats to all of those, but say you want to carry a big gun. I want to be rocking a red dot and a weapon-mounted light and a full-size Glock 17 and a nice holster and all that. Well, then you're probably not going to be as comfortable, and you're going to have to wear more specific clothing to accommodate that. Starting to make sense? If you want to really heavily weigh into one of those corners, the other two are going to diminish. I think I have found a good solution or a good balance of all of them for comfortability, what I can get away with wearing, and the size of gun that affords me. We're going to talk about that at the end. So if you can get on board with wearing a nice belt that is more designed for carry, they do make a lot now that don't necessarily look like tactical belts. They have standard leather ones, and they're a little bit lower profile than they once were, like the days of only the 511 web belts. That was like your only option, and those things look all tactical, military. You don't necessarily need to do that anymore to still get a really nice carry belt. So if you can get on board with wearing a belt, the rest of this process is going to be a lot easier. And if not, it's all going to be way harder as far as what you can afford, your holster selection, and things like that. I do not try to limit myself by saying, oh, I have to always wear a thick seamed pants or a large shirt or a hoodie. I find myself wearing pretty much what I'm wearing today every single day, okay? If it's fall or winter, I'm wearing jeans and boots and a hoodie or a flannel shirt. And if it's summer, I'm wearing jeans or boots and a t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt. Pretty basic, nothing ridiculous. And that works well enough for me. Even if you think you are printing, even if you actually are printing the gun, it's never as bad as you feel like it is. Even with this, this is what I carry every single day. This is a M&P compact. Because of my size of hands, for comfortability, I feel like I need a larger gun. So that kind of pulls my other two corners as to comfortability and what I can wear. I can't necessarily get away with wearing shorts and a t-shirt if I want to carry that gun. I need to switch guns, right? This is going to change a little bit as we do. I might be carrying something like this. This is a Glock 42, all right? Little tiny gun, very uncomfortable in my hand, but it's better than not having anything. You are going to have to be a little bit more specific in what you carry. Now, once again, we're talking about you're going to carry in every situation, all right? Now, there are certain situations where I find myself not having a gun, all right? It's just not practical, or other security reasons I'm going somewhere where I'm literally not allowed to have one. Well, then I'll have maybe a pocket knife or something that can do something, right? But in all perfect circumstances, I'm going to have my gun on me all the time, year-round. I find myself, whenever humanly possible, I'm going to wear an undershirt. all the time, okay? Really easy in winter. You're just wearing a t-shirt under your hoodie or whatever anyway, so tuck that in, okay? Summer, it's a little bit harder. You got to wear tank tops under your t-shirt. It can get a little bit warm, all right, especially if you're going to be out and about outside all day. But it is going to save you a lot in the comfortability department. It's a very small sacrifice to get a lot more comfortability with the gun. Even if you have something like, again, the Glock 42, this thing has basically no texture on the grip. No real hard surfaces or edges that are going to snag your skin. And still, in the summer with the increased friction, I'm sweating all the time, I still wear an undershirt, okay? Because it just makes me more comfortable. Now, holster selection. This is going to be somewhat determined by what position you're wanting to carry, but the two holsters that I have here are capable of being used in any carry position you could possibly want, provided you do have a good belt. So, honestly, one of the best choices for beginners is something like this. This is a sticky holster. It's a product we stock. It is just a nylon sleeve that is sewn to the shape of a particular gun, and then the outside is rubberized. It's not a spray-on coating like Blackhawk used to do, because that stuff would ball up over time and wear off, and then you'd just be left with a sock. This is an actual kind of rubber sheet, so they really do stay sticky for a very long time. I've had this one for years, and it still works well. But for a very low introductory cost, you have a holster that fits your gun and can be carried in any position you want, okay? And you don't even have to use one of those nice core belts or something like that. As long as you have a belt that you cinch up pretty tight, the friction is going to grab this gun and the holster, and it's not going to go anywhere, all right? So that allows you to, number one, try all the different carry positions, because your mind may not be made up. I don't know if I want to carry on my hip or appendix or any other position, all right? Or maybe I want to cross draw because I'm feeling frisky. This allows you to choose, all right, what kind of position. You try that out. You try all of them out, and then you say, okay, I want to go with X. I want to go with appendix. And from there, if you've already made that decision, you can buy a more dedicated holster. Now, something like this is a T-Rex Arms sidecar. Now, I don't like carrying anything else on the front in appendix aside from maybe a small knife, so I just have a clip here. But this does a couple things, all right? Number one, it's a two-clip design, and those clips are spread out. So it really balances the gun. It doesn't want to tip one way in my waistband. It sits straight exactly where I want it. And the clips hold very well onto, again, a good belt. Cinch that belt down, and it sucks it up very close to my body. Prevents me from printing. And then this fin here pushes on the inside of my pants and pulls that grip back into me. So it really does tuck away rather nicely for almost a full-size gun with a red dot. That is what would be a more dedicated holster. Something that is specifically molded for the gun. Leather can be good, all right, but what I'm after is the rigidity, all right? It's not necessarily that I like one particular material or anything like that, but Kydex offers me the most rigidity and therefore the most amount of leverage from my pants and the belt actually transferring to the gun. If the holster has give, then it's not necessarily going to cinch down the way that I want it, whereas there is only one way this thing can cinch down, because it is trapped right exactly there with those clips and the rigidity of the Kydex. It goes in. There's not any other direction that it can move. So that is very important for concealment. What I have found works really well for me is a medium-sized gun for the capacity, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be a compact like this M&P 9 or a Glock 19, but something like maybe a 365X or a Glock 43X, a Shield Plus. Something that is reasonably capable, both in optics, if you want to get optics ready, or just has good sights on it, okay? And capacity, all right? I have a lot of rounds on board for arguably not a big profile. As much rounds as I can squeeze into there is great. So the 365X, Hellcat, Hellcat Pro, Shield Plus, all those guns that have been sweeping the market recently. Something like that. Again, those guns would conceal better for me if I had one, but because of my hand size, the grip diameter of a compact works well for me. So think of those interchangeably. A good belt, that's going to be what brings the whole system together. Adds the comfortability without making you have to do a bunch of other stuff. You can get away with a lot in a lot of weather conditions without sacrificing too much from any of those corners of the triangle with that kind of system. It's going to tension well against your body. It's going to hold the gun well. It does have retention, right? So it clicks into place. and sits very well against your body. That kind of system works really well for me, and I've tried a lot. I've tried a sticky holster with a revolver. I've tried ulti-clips on just pants. I've tried every type of Kydex holster you can think of. I've tried on the hip, and none of those really worked well for me in all conditions. This system here, no matter what time of year it is, I can throw this on and be confident that my gun is going to be there, it's going to work for me, it's not going anywhere, and my clothes will be sufficient to conceal it, at least reasonably well. So that's what I've settled on. It works well in pretty much all conditions. Now, one other thing we should talk about is why you should carry. Why you should carry as much as you can. And I say as much as you can because everybody has different circumstances. My life has put me in a circumstance where I can carry my gun pretty much every day, all day. Whether it be professionally, at my old job, or here, all right? Now I work at a gun store. I'm definitely allowed to carry my gun every single day. Well, some people aren't. Some people work at banks or hospitals. So I say whenever you can, because I understand. Sometimes you cannot for certain people. But why would I want to carry whenever I can? I think the best way to put this, and this is actually something Alan told me, it was an old phrase. Firearms are the most civilized thing that man ever created. And why is that? The firearm, the pistol, the rifle, was the first thing ever invented that put every single person on the face of the earth on an equal playing field. You put a pistol in somebody's hand and they are capable of stopping anyone doing what they're doing. Anyone at all. So, though I am capable in several areas, there are fights that I might not be able to win hand to hand. And this is your equalizer. Okay? Bad guys are going to use guns, and there is no sense in the good guys not having guns as well. I don't count on anyone else to be carrying guns, and neither should you, all right? Cops have good response time in a lot of cities, but it's not instantaneous. The only person that is truly responsible for your own safety and your own protection is you. For the same reason I carry first aid equipment whenever I can, okay? A knife whenever I can, a flashlight whenever I can, because you may need all that stuff. And while you're probably least likely to need this, you still might, okay? When's the last time you used the fire extinguisher in your house? Last week or never? But you still have one, don't you? Because there might be a fire. Alright guys, one last thing. We are doing our very first giveaway for the YouTube channel. So for this video, if you are subscribed, you like the video, and you leave a comment, you are entering yourself in to win a free Core Essentials belt, the belts that I've been talking about, the ones I use every day, and a Core t-shirt. So if you are subscribed to the channel, you like the video, and you leave a comment, and also you live in the continental United States, we will ship these to you for free. Thank you very much to Core. They did sponsor this video and send this to us to give away to you guys. So big thanks to them. They're a great group of guys and they truly do make good stuff. We will do that drawing probably a week after this video uploads. So we will message you on YouTube and let you know that you've won. We'll do a random drawing. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.